Okay, welcome to the new series in which we will explore uh, from lying down. So, will be the intention of this series, one of the intentions, among others, is to gain confidence in our ability to sit on the floor without leaning against anything. And so, we're going to begin by lying down. So we will be initially exploring from lying down, and as we gain confidence in our mobility and stability and in the structure of the skeletal system, we will, and necessarily, we will discover greater suppleness in the soft tissue so that we are struggling and straining less. We'll eventually begin to explore sitting and see that that can become easier and more pleasurable. So, to start, lie down on your back. And you may do this on the floor or in bed. If you're able to do it on the floor, I recommend doing it on the floor. But if it's too uncomfortable and that discomfort is distracting or prompts too much strain, it will be better to do it in bed. So you choose. And bend both of your knees and place your feet so that the bottoms of the feet, the soles of the feet, are resting on the surface that your back is also resting on, that your head is also resting on. And you may place your hands either at your sides, or you can rest them on your abdomen. Whatever is comfortable for you, it is fine. For now, we're going to be using the hands momentarily. But first, let's take a moment to rest here and notice the points of contact or the surfaces of contact where we are truly not needing to make any effort. We can surrender to the floor or the bed, whatever's underneath us. Just surrender. So surrender all of the strain, the unnecessary effort, the gripping, the clenching, the anticipation, the worry, the stress, all of it. Just surrender it. Notice how you've been doing it, how you were clenching, anticipating. You were literally in suspense. You were literally holding yourself in suspense. But here we don't need to be in suspense. We can surrender. Surrender to the surface, surrender to the support underneath. Literally just recognize that your muscles, your soft tissue doesn't need to do anything here. The brain might tell you out of habit that you need to do something, that there are dangers, that your body is fragile, that it's too uncomfortable, that you might suffocate or become strangled or who knows what. All of these strange ideas that we come to accept as true because we don't question them. But notice that truly you are supported. This is safe. It's okay to release. Not only the back side, but also the front side and the right and left sides of the body. Let the belly be soft. Let the chest be surrendered. Let the arms be surrendered. Let the bottoms of the feet be surrendered. Let the buttocks be surrendered. You don't need to be clenching or gripping in the buttocks. Just let them be soft. And just sense this experience. Just take this in as a whole. Just experience yourself here presently. Notice the experience, the quality of the experience, the totality of the experience. Just notice it. Don't judge it. Just observe it. And when you are ready to do so, then gently bring the right knee toward the chest as far as you can do comfortably without strain. So that will mean the foot will lift up. The right foot will lift and then slowly release to the floor again. See that you can do this in a very gentle, non-strenuous way. Now, if you don't know how to do that without strain, don't dismay. A couple of things. First of all, remember that you don't ever have to do the movement. It's enough to imagine, it's enough to begin to initiate. In fact, that's better. It's better to do it really slowly so that you get clear on the continuous and whole movement so that there are no gaps. So don't dismay ever thinking, oh, I can't do it, it's too hard. No, it's good news. Wherever you come up against strain, that's good news. It means you've discovered how you're doing it in a difficult way and you can do less. Don't put unnecessary pressure on yourself to perform some sort of external action. Let the action be subtle and internal, and then whatever manifests outwardly is fine. Get clear inwardly about the movement at subtle levels so that you can be aware of it continuously, the continuous movement. Let's repeat that several times. Again, only do what you can do. Don't push, don't strain, don't try to perform an external action. Be much more interested in the inner experience and observe where you strain so that it can be softer. Notice how you can surrender more. Let the pelvis be heavy against the floor or the bed or whatever it is. So we're slowly bringing the right knee in the direction of the chest. Now it might not come very far at all. It might not come at all. Doesn't matter. Just be aware of what you're doing and how to make it easier. Slowly release. So the foot, if the movement is large enough, the foot will lift. And if the foot lifted, then the foot will return to the floor. Maybe the foot never leaves the floor, in which case that's fine. Don't worry about it. But if the foot lifts, then the foot will come back to the floor. See how smoothly, gently, and pleasurably you can do that. Let's do this many more times at our own pace, very slowly, so that we can be aware and let it be smooth and continuous. So there's no gap, no jerkiness, no lack of clarity, no lack of pleasure, no pain, no strain, no discomfort. Let it be really wonderful. Let it be so thoroughly pleasurable that you don't want to do anything else. That's possible. This can be so pleasurable. So we're just reviewing this, exploring this same movement many times slowly. Now, if you notice any pulling, popping, anything like that, just be aware of that and do less. Again, a bigger movement is not better. A more conscious movement, a more pleasurable movement is better. So if you can do the movement and it's very, very small, almost imperceptible, but it's smooth and pleasurable, that is good. way better than doing a big movement that looks right but doesn't feel good. It should feel so pleasurable that it's better than the most restful sleep. I'm sincere about that. It's better than the most restful sleep. It's better than the best sex you've ever had. And if you haven't had good sex, it's definitely better than that. It's better than the most delicious food you've ever eaten. It's better than the most wonderful massage you've ever received. It's better than the most relaxing bath you've ever taken. It's the most pleasure you've ever experienced, and you can give this to yourself anytime just by being aware. And then you start to realize maybe you don't even need to do the movement, maybe, to discover that same pleasure. But for now, we'll do the movement. Now, as you're doing the movement, don't do it mechanically. That's so important. Do it with awareness so that each time it becomes more pleasurable. How does it become more pleasurable? Because you're doing less and you're getting clearer. You should be aware of your leg in a different way. So when you next bring the foot down or are more completely fully at rest, just rest, pause here for a moment and observe your inner experience of your right thigh all the way up into the pelvis where it connects to the pelvis. Notice that it is different. In fact, notice that it's different than, very different, not only in contrast to how you previously experienced it, but also very different in contrast with the left. Do not make any adjustments. Do not shift anything, trying to fix anything, trying to even anything out. You may perceive that you are contorted. You may perceive that one side is longer than the other. You may perceive whatever you perceive. Don't make any changes. Just rest and observe. And in fact, we will remain here for a short while. So really give yourself permission to rest with awareness and to continue to be aware of that right thigh, the right buttock. Do not make any changes. Don't fix it. And don't hold on. Don't endure anything. Surrender completely. Surrender completely to the perfection of this moment as it is, to the revelation of your supple nature, even though you might not yet recognize it. Continue to rest. Rest as deeply as possible with awareness, and I promise you something miraculous will happen. Keep surrendering. Don't tune out. Whatever happens, unless it's a true emergency that requires your attention right now, just surrender. Surrender and remain aware. Let the right thigh come fully to rest without moving. So the knee is still bent, but let the thigh rest. Let the top of the thigh bone surrender. Let the buttocks surrender. Let your awareness of yourself expand and open and soften so that you become aware of this more correct perception, this more free perception, this more supple perception. And notice where the top of the thigh really is. It's different than you thought. But notice where it actually is in your actual direct perception. Don't go looking for it, just trust that you can recognize it. It's where you sense it. It's not where you thought it was. Notice how much longer and more supple all of the muscles of the thigh all around are. The buttock, so the back side and the front side included. Now let's, with that awareness, notice where the joint is. Notice where that femur, the bone of the thigh, actually meets the pelvis, where it actually inserts into the socket. And with awareness of that and allowing for the backside of the pelvis to remain restful, you don't need to do any gripping whatsoever on the backside of the body. Slowly, with awareness, repeat the action that we were doing previously. See how different it is. And go very slowly, so slowly that you are actually pausing at any point where you notice any lack of clarity or any gripping, any unnecessary effort, any strain. Just pause and soften, release. Let everything be as soft as possible so that you're only doing the very minimum necessary to actually perform this action. It's way less than you think. So you're moving very slowly, pausing, releasing, moving, pausing, releasing. You could do this so slowly with so much awareness that it could take you an hour to do one repetition. I'm not suggesting you do that, but you could. And so if you notice that you're rushing through, oh, I got to get this done, just slow down. You're rushing out of habit and out of the habit of believing that there's a problem, that this is painful, that you can't do it, that it's not pleasurable. And I'm telling you, find out the pleasure that is here that you've been overlooking. Then you won't rush through because you'll enjoy it. You'll want to do it. Your buttocks can become so supple. Who would have thought that I'd be talking about that? But it can be so pleasurable. Let them go. They don't need to be gripping. They don't need to be doing anything here. Just let them be. Ah, so nice. Let them be. Now, if you're able to do so, you can take the hands and you can You might need to unbend the leg a little bit. Bring the hands around the backside of the thigh, the sort of the backside of the knee, and you can, if you're able to, interlace the fingers there. And then allow the weight of the arms to gently encourage the leg to further release. Do not pull. This is not about pulling. Don't strain. Don't hold your breath. If you have to strain or pull or hold your breath or squeeze up your face or any of those things, then this is too much, so don't do it until you're clear enough to do it. Don't think that you should do this. You should not do this. You may do it. There's no should involved. You may do it, and if you wish to do it with pleasure. Do it with ease. Don't strain through it. Don't push. Discover the pleasure that's here now. Notice where you're resisting. Notice where you're straining in the buttock, in the groin, in the abdomen, in the quads, wherever. You notice that and just release, soften. Now, let the arms continue to be passive and heavy. Do not pull on the thigh, but keep the arms, keep the fingers interlaced behind the knee or on the backside of the thigh near to the knee to provide a passive, gentle resistance as you begin to slowly, don't move the knee joint of the right leg, don't move the ankle joint, don't do anything with the toes. Let all of that just be passive and restful. But begin to move the leg so that the knee is moving in the direction away from your chest, away from the torso. It will be a small movement. Do not exaggerate it. Let it be small and gentle. As soon as you notice strain, then release. Do not pull with the arms, but let the natural weight of the arms draw the thigh, the knee, perhaps a little closer to the chest. As you do, observe that you can soften and release more on the back side. Let the gluteal muscles, the hamstrings, all of that, let it lengthen and soften. You will feel how wonderful this is if you surrender to it. Now let's repeat that many times at our own pace. So we're keeping the arms where they are, passively through their weight alone, without exerting any effort through the arms. Just let the weight of the arms provide a gentle resistance as you slowly, gently Move the right knee in the direction away from the chest. Do not strain. As soon as you encounter the least bit of strain, soften and release, and let the weight of the arms, without pulling, bring the knee back in the direction of the chest. Perhaps even out to the right slightly, if that's natural for you, so that the knee begins to come in the direction of the floor at your right side. Whatever is natural for you. This you might be way out here. That's okay. Don't think that you have to be doing. It doesn't have to look like what I'm doing. Just follow the direction, and you will get the benefits of it. So we're just slowly moving the leg away from the torso. Let the lower leg be soft and passive. It doesn't need to do anything. The knee can be relaxed. And see that it's possible each time, if you really truly do this with awareness, slowly, each time you will find that you're able to move the leg further without strain. And you will find that it releases toward the chest or in the direction of the floor at the side even further without pulling. You will notice that the pelvis is wider, softer, and more stable. You will notice that the gluteal muscles are softening, lengthening, that you're experiencing pleasurable sensation where you did not know that you could. Also remember that you may rest at any time. Please rest if ever you need. Remember not to hold the breath. Be aware of what you're doing in the face. I notice that I have a tendency to squeeze up the face a little bit. So just let the face be soft. Let the breath be uncontrolled and gentle. Let the abdomen be soft. And just one more time, do the same movement and see what you can do. Remember, don't pull with the arms. Let the arms also be soft so the leg will move the arms. It will lengthen the arms in this really pleasurable way if you soften. Not just the arms, but if you really allow it, you can, without strain, you can actually massage your upper back and spread the shoulder blades, providing this really wonderful release all through the back side of the body. And release the leg back toward the chest. And when you've come back to a fully restful position here, slowly very gently see that you can release the hands and arms without disturbing anything. Now, in order to do that, you may need to slightly unbend the knee. In other words, lift the lower leg slightly to provide enough space that you can de-interlace the fingers and slide the hands out from the space behind the thigh. Let the hands and arms come to rest wherever you wish, and then slowly, with awareness, release the leg back to the starting position with the foot on the floor. And do this without reintroducing the habitual unnecessary effort. So you will find that your buttock comes to rest and makes different contact than it previously did. Don't reintroduce the old habit. And then just take a moment here again to fully allow this to integrate. So if we can just allow the new sensation the new experience, the new way to remain undisturbed, and we can continue to soften and release any impulses to reassert our old habit, the old pattern. Just continue to let the buttock be soft. Let the groin be soft. Let the awareness of the thigh open to this new sense of yourself. Then something miraculous happens, so just continue to rest. Consciously be present to the experience, because this will change something in the way in which you perceive yourself. So give yourself this opportunity to allow for this to integrate. It's a very important part, because you've taken all this time Now let's receive the benefits as fully as possible. Don't leap out of it. Don't rush away. Just, even if whatever your brain tells you, if your brain tells you this is hard, it's uncomfortable, I've got things to do, I'm busy, whatever your brain tells you, just, if there's no emergency, if you're not about to actually break, just be willing to rest here for another 30 seconds. And then you will find out, you'll see in your actual experience that something changes. Keep being present to the experience. Keep releasing as the old habits creep back in. You won't have to maintain it forever. Just continue to be present now. So we have obviously explored the right leg movement. Very likely you will want to do this on the left leg as well. But before you do, I would actually suggest you come back to that. Come back and do that later today or tomorrow. Before you do so, slowly roll over to your side and do so with awareness so that you remain aware consciously of releasing the unnecessary effort. So do not reassert the clenching, gripping, tightening in the right hip, let's call it. So the right groin, upper thigh, glutes, all of that region. Don't reassert the old habits. Notice the suppleness, the openness that's here now. Remain aware of that. Continue to remain aware of that as you slowly roll to the side. I don't know that I can do it personally in the space that I have. It's pretty small. But see that you can roll to the side. And if like me, if maybe you're in a space where you don't have enough room to roll to the side, the same applies. So I'll demonstrate actually. You can watch or not, it doesn't matter, but I just want you to know that this is possible. That no matter how you are going to move your body, you can do so. It's possible to do so, maintaining this same suppleness and awareness. So the key is to remain aware and to move slowly, so that if you notice those habits of clenching, gripping, reasserting themselves, slow down, pause, soften consciously. So see that whatever you do, in order to do this, I'm going to actually shift my pelvis to the right, and I'm doing this while maintaining the same suppleness. It's a pretty small space. See, I was mistaken. There's enough room. With a little creativity, I can get to the side. And then see that from here, there is a way in which you can maintain the same openness, the same suppleness, the same release, and transition to sitting. So find that out. Don't worry if you fail, that's okay. You can come back to it, but see that it's possible. Same applies, just move slowly, and if something starts to grip, then release. And then maybe you start to discover that you can make any movement without that unnecessary effort, without the gripping, you see. So Thank you. I hope this is helpful to you, and I look forward to your feedback on your experience. Bye for now.